Content is king, and you know what? It always has been. Whether it's information, opinion, or entertainment, we humans devour content in all forms of media. Luckily, we create content roughly the same enthusiasm, but for our message to reach as many people as possible, we need to make deliberate choices. In this video, we'll talk about 8 ways we can stand out as a creative entrepreneur, no matter what your niche is. Hello everyone, my name is Darryl Omar, problem solver.
I'm Winston Wolfe. I solve problems.
Good, we got one.
So I heard. May I come in?
Yeah, please do.
Creative brand strategist, dad, and entrepreneur. Content creation is one of the primary building blocks of any marketing initiative. Likewise, it's key to entrepreneurs and influencers who want to establish themselves in an entertainment field that becomes more and more crowded every day. On a basic level, all you need to do to create successful content is to send a message that resonates with a specific audience. It sounds simple, but it's actually incredibly difficult. As we mentioned, there's millions of others trying to do the same thing. The ones that climb to the top of the heap and get the most engagement, they do this by following a playbook. And they follow these steps actually I'm about to show you. So step number 1, plug into your industry. Your industry is whatever you create content about. So your audience, which we'll talk about next, are generally people who are involved with, interested in, or entertained by that industry in some way. So if you want to speak to them, you need to be plugged in. Think about this. ESPN only exists because they're analysts and commentators who know more about the sports than the fans. That's what makes them influential. So you need to be aware of everything in your industry if you want to do the same. So follow news sites, read trades, and keep up to pace with industry leaders so you can provide useful information to your audience. Tip number 2, study this said audience. Speaking of audience, do you know who they are? I asked this because when I started out, I didn't know who my audience was. I just know I had a skill set and I need to make money.
Look what I found in my pocket! Look! A year's salary right here! What I call them? Fun coupons!
So I threw out a wide net, and whoever was willing to pay me for that skill set became my audience and my client. In hindsight, not the proper way of doing business, but I know a lot of entrepreneurs who started the same way. Let's get out of the red and head to the green. So I have a question for you. Have you built a template of your perfect ideal buyer, listener, or fan? And if not, you could be wasting your time and energy putting content in front of people who could ultimately care less about it. The solution is to do research on the people who engage with you most. People that are liking your content, sharing your content, engaging with it. Those are the people you should be trying to engage with. So figure out their age, gender, location, income, and other details, no matter how insignificant. Soon patterns will appear and you'll be able to tailor your content to that specific audience without even much thought. 3, create on schedule. There's a reason why TV shows run on the same day each week and magazines are published the same time each month. People want to consume their content with a certain amount of regularity. When content isn't released on a familiar basis, people lose interest quickly. And if they lose interest, trust me, they're going to go and find this content somewhere else. When they're daily, weekly, or monthly, the viewer can build expectations for the new content. Even those of us who make content for a living tend to have a hard time doing so with any regularity. By creating a schedule, you're creating accountability as well. Make your voice unique. I can't harp on this enough. Many of us spend our lives trying to fit in. The irony, of course, is that the most successful creators are those who stand out in some way. When making content, put yourself in the shoe of the viewer. Wouldn't you be tired of hearing the same takes on a topic from different people providing the same views? Your viewer wants to hear differing opinions, unique points of view, and comments that make them say, wow, I never thought of it that way. And though there can be some success to be had blending in with the majority, you don't want to come across as the person that just keeps to themselves. But standing out as a content creator means developing and owning your voice, personality, and reputation. Know how to measure your success. In the business world, we have what are known as KPIs, or key performance indicators. This is how we measure how well an initiative, policy, or product is doing. In marketing, it's how we determine if the type of content we released is performing better, worse, or on par with other content. Influencers can evaluate this easily, as their KPIs are generally things such as likes, shares, and views. So I have a question for you again. Have you ever sat down and brainstormed what KPIs for your content would look like? If not, you could be missing out on a wealth of valuable information. Tip number 6, and this one is tough for me because I can be an introvert at times. Network, network, network. I always get invited to these network events that I just never go to because I end up going, having a drink, standing in a corner, or I go in and speaking to somebody and it's just not the right connection. I'm thinking I wasted my time. But perhaps one of the biggest truths in the world can be found in the phrase, it's not what you do, it's who you know. This is why it's important to network. After all, one of the best ways to get more exposure is to leverage other creators' audiences in one way or another. Maybe you do a guest blog, maybe you join in a podcast. Perhaps you decide to collaborate with someone who sells a product similar to yours. In the end, every handshake, virtual or otherwise, has endless potential. Tip number 7, be solution oriented. The world loves problem solvers, even if they are merely considering how a problem might be solved.
Wanna get down on this?
Either way, if you're going to establish a link with your audience, you need to provide them with something useful. So after you identify your audience, try to figure out what their needs are. If you can provide some insight or even merely point them in the right direction, they'll see you as an authority and latch on to your content. Tip number 8, ask questions. If you look at some of the biggest content creators in realms like podcasting and journalism, they tend to be very question oriented. That is, they like to ask questions and then find the answers. They also like to question the status quo. So Joe Rogan, for instance, has made an entire career on this one strategy. Just remember to apply critical thinking to your discussion. What I want from you now is to go out there and unleash your content creation potential with these 8 expert tips. Don't miss out on any future game-changing insights. Subscribe now. Until next time, let's grow together.